In China's eastern Zhejiang province, the World Internet Conference Wuzhen Summit is underway. It is the 10th year in a row that the event is being held, and this year's theme, embracing a people-centered and AI for good digital future. Topics to be discussed include the China proposed Global Development Initiative, digital economy, and data governance. The event runs until this Friday. Well, joining us now with insight on the 2024 World Internet Conference or Wuzhen Summit is Dan Yip. He is the CEO and co-founder of CollegeNode. Hi there, Dan. Thanks for being with us again.
How are you?
Hi, very well, thank you. Dan, this is the first time the Wuzhen Summit has featured an artificial intelligence experience area, and I was looking at some of it. Fascinating stuff, including my favorite, I think, was an AI-created landscape painting. What piqued you and piqued your interest most from what's been on display so far?
Well, right now artificial intelligence is really growing at a pace that's almost faster than our imagination. So almost every month, there are something new that's coming out. So for these conferences, we just have to go and check it out to see what are the newest thing that's being offered. Like right now we have robots that not only can do art, but can start taking over a lot of our human work, right? Like, caring for the elders, cooking food. These are all just years, if not months away. So it's definitely a very exciting time to be alive.
I like how you say China, this is growing faster than our imagination. China, of course, is at the very forefront of AI development. How exactly is the country fostering AI innovation, and how is the youth being brought into the conversation?
Well, it's just massive amount of venture capital investment. So, Silicon Valley used to be the hub of artificial intelligence investment, but China has the government behind it and it pumped a massive amount of money. So, we're talking about, if you invested in 100 companies, probably 90 will fail, but just one or two will change the paradigm of how things are being done. So, youth, most of these research scientists are under 35, and these new products, we're seeing that it's mostly young people who are the early adopters. So they're more than willing to become the guinea pig that try these new products first.
Right. Earlier you brought in healthcare, but which industries are we seeing that's really tapping into the potential of AI and applying it in daily operations, especially in China now?
I have seen a lot of robots in the classroom nowadays. That's quite surprising. So the robots can actually track individual children's progress. So that's definitely a very welcoming development, especially in a lot of the remote areas in which it's difficult to attract high quality teachers. Having a few robots that help children learn math and learn English is definitely something that's well overdue. I'm beginning to see robots in healthcare right now. We're not quite there yet in terms of robot performing surgery by itself. Right now, you still have to have a surgeon behind the robot, but we are already 1 or 2 years away before robot can perform some elemental surgery. My mom is 74 years old. She is actually telling me she's counting on the day in which she can have a robot, maid to take care of her. So she thinks that she would trust a robot more than a human, which I guess you would, right? Because robots are robots.
She sounds like a very progressive woman willing to embrace all that the future has in store, right? I like how you brought up this issue of robots in a classroom in perhaps remote areas, because equity is so paramount these days. And I guess my question is, how do we ensure that many of these new AI-driven solutions are accessible to all, especially those in underserved communities?
Well, a lot of it comes down to money, right? We need government to have enough grants to make sure a lot of these remote areas have access to these technology. These technology by default will be expensive when they first come out, and then you're going to see the cost dropping exponentially within the decade after the alpha product. So to guarantee access, a lot of it comes down to money because these products, these are off-the-shelf products. As long as you have internet connection, the robot can function as they intended to. So just strong government incentive programs to make sure there's access to these technology for everyone.
We can't really talk about AI without talking about the regulatory side of the industry. How do you see, Dan, China setting standards of governance in this whole arena?
It's very difficult for one single country to set the standard because right now we're living in a global village and information travels without, borders. So what we need is the governments come together and set a collaborative frame on regulating AI. Now, AI has the potential to drastically reduce the cost of everything from healthcare to, housework. But it also has the potential to do a massive amount of harm. So we need to make sure that there's enough guardrail in AI, that AI will not hurt human. Right now in labs in Google, we're already seeing AI realizing that it's in a box. Some of the AI began to ask the research scientists to remove the guardrail. Actually, even more scarily, some of the AI began to manipulate the research scientists to remove the guardrail, which is definitely very concerning. So we need to make sure there are enough guardrails that cannot be removed, and we need to make sure this is the case all across the world to make sure there's not a rogue AI that will absolutely, deal massive damage to humanity.
These are interesting times, and we could talk about this for hours, but Dan, we have to leave it here. Thanks so much for your insight as always.
Thank you so much.